How are you doing, guys? This is the first video of me ever recording from my car, right? This is a rare occasion, but I have to report this news, right? If you can read the headline, and by the way, this is the Highly Evolved Podcast. You can find me on Twitter and Gap.ai. Not only that, you can find me in BitChute and Minds.com. With that being said, let's continue with the show, alright? I have to make this video that an article I read in Fox News regarding the border wall, what Democrats are facing these days, right? If you can read the headline right now, it said Judge tosses House Democratic lawsuit over Trump uses of emergency military fund for border wall. All right, let's continue this. I find this article very intriguing. The Democrat had this coming, right? These Democrats they're not American, they're un-American. But let's continue reading this. Washington D.C. District Court Judge Trevor McFadden threw out House Democrat lawsuit seeking an injunction against President Donald Trump emergency border wall funding reallocation, saying the matter is a fundamental political dispute that the politician lacks standing to make a legal case. All right, let's continue on. Trump had declared a national emergency in the past February over the humanitarian crisis in the southern border following Congress' failure to fund his border wall legislatively. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat California, and House Democrat then filed a suit in April, charging that Trump was stealing inappropriate funds by moving $6.7 billion from other projects towards border wall construction. Democrats argue that the White House have flouted fundamental separation of power principle, usurp of itself legislative power significantly vested by the Constitutional Congress. No, he's not. He's doing this purely to look for American interests, declares a national emergency. All right? This money has already been allocated. He have every right to use this money. And now they try to make every excuses to prevent President Trump from protecting the border. That's within his power. It's his duty. It's his job to protect American interests, and national security is American interests. It's his job title. They try to prevent him from doing his job, right? But let's continue on. In his ruling, McFadden, a Trump appointee, suggested Democrats were trying to circumvent the political process. This case presents a close question about the appropriate role of judiciary in resolving dispute between other than two branches of federal government. To be clear, the court does not imply that Congress may never sue executive to protect the power, McFadden wrote in his opposition opinion. The court declined to take sides of this fight between the House and the president because it's not a matter of what is power or not. President Trump has the right to power to do this. This is a matter of disliking and liking Donald Trump. Is Orange Man bad? That's why we want to take money away from him. Right? To the Democratic Party, is always Orange Man bad. Orange Man bad. Orange Man bad. So we don't want to give him money, even though it's within his power to use whatever he wanted to use it for. Alright? Because of this kind of shenanigans, right? This is why he's using his power to pressure Mexico to take care of their northern borders. Alright? Because he knows the judicial can't do anything about Mexico. That's why he's using Mexico as a second option. Like, alright, if we keep preventing, if our judicial system keep preventing the president from doing his job, Donald Trump logic is that, all right, we'll make Mexico do it for us. And that way, Donald Trump have every power to do whatever to Mexico because it's within his power, his jurisdiction. Not only that, the judicial committee, the judicial branches of the government cannot dictate what Mexican can and cannot do. And one power over Mexico is by their economy. That's why he's applying this tariff. All right, but let's continue with this. McFadden rule constructed with U.S. District Court Judges Hayward Gilliam injunction last week, right? Contrasted with Hayward Gilliam. He's a Obama appointee, all right? Gilliam. Which blocked the administrative from using the reallocation fund for a project in specific areas in Texas and Arizona. Gilliam has been appointed by President Barack Obama. See? He's a liberal. And he donated $20,000 to Obama, I guess, for this position. All right. McFadden continued to focus on two guiding Supreme Court cases he called Lodestar in 2015. Cases Arizona State Legislature versus Arizona Independent Redistricting Commission in the 1997 case Rain versus Byrd. It reads together Rain and Arizona State Legislature create a spectrum of sort. McFadden wrote, on the end of individual legislative lack of standing of allege a generalized harm to Congress Article 1 power, on the other end of the chamber of state legislative do have standing to challenge a nullification of their legislative authority brought about through referendum, right? In order to change any power, you have to have a referendum. They're not having a referendum, right? But McFadden quickly distinguished the Arizona State legislative cases which found institutional standing for legislator only in the limit stances. Arizona cases, the judge noted, does not touch a concern the question whether Congress has standing to bring the suit against president. Right? They don't have no standing to bring this kind of thing against the president. And the Supreme Court have found that there was no federal analog to Arizona initiative power. There's none at all. Democratic dispute was more similar to one of our main cases, McFadden wrote, under the framework and factor considering Rain, including how similar the matter has been handled historically and the availability of other remedies beside litigations. McFadden ruled the House Democrat lacking standing. They lack standing and reason or logic, right? Concerning past historical practices, the Trump administration argued that it is briefed that the Congress was concerned about unauthorized executive branch spending on the aftermath of World War I. It responds not by threatening litigation, but by creating a general account office. The judge cited that an argument approving his opinion Collins' presumption. Example for hotly debated a political questioning between resolving without involving the court, McFadden continued. I brought the early history. All right? This is a long article. Wow. This is a long article. But let's continue on. For example, McFadden in 1933, President FDR fired an official from the Senate conferring position of Federal Trade Commission. The president removed official without providing reason. The Senate likely had a strong claim for dominations of its advice and consent power. Yet the Senate made no effort to challenge this action in court. Additionally, McFadden said Democrats retained constitutional legislative option in which remedy their objection about the president purported misuse of the appropriation clauses under Supreme Court precedents of the Rain cases. McFadden asserted existence of these additional options suggests Democrats lack standing. They do lack standing. They lack standing reasoning. McFadden noted that particularly that Democrats retain the power of modifying or even applying appropriation laws if they wanted to exempt future appropriation from Trump administrative reaches. All right, look at that wall. Look how many people that is. These are the people that's coming to the United States in drove. All right, you don't know what kind of disease they have, what kind of ailments, what kind of benefit, how are these people supposed to benefit America? All right? And they're spreading diseases like hepatitis, tuberculosis. These people are not even checked or vetted. All right? Because of the White House had not nullified that legislative power, McFadden wrote, there was no urgent needed for judicial intervention significance to override the consideration of the political question doctrines, which hold their court generally stay out of political sensitive matter best left to voters. Congress have several political narrows quivers to counter the perceived threat to the sphere of power. McFadden wrote, these tools shows that the lawsuit is not last resort of the houses, and the fact is also exemplified by many of other cases across the country, challenging administrative plans constructing the border wall. McFadden continued, the House retained the institutional tools necessary to remedy any harm accused of the power of the administrative action. Its member can with a 2/3 majority, override the president's veto of resolution avoiding the National Emergency Declaration. They don't. It can amend appropriation laws to expressly restrict the transfer and suspending funds for the border wall under Section 284 and 2808. Indeed, it appeared to do so. The judge added the House Democrat has burdened the demonstrating that they had standing a difficult hurdle for any plaintiff to clear, which involving showing particularized injury in court can address. Trump announced escalating tariff on Mexico until legal immigration stopped. On the end, McFadden quoted former Chief Justice John Marshall's opinion on the seminal 1883 case versus Marbury versus Madison, in which Madison voted to provide the court to solely to decide on the right to individual, not inquire how the executive or executive officer perform duty in which they have decided. You don't know the cases between Marbury versus Madison is right. It's President Madison, I think, got elected, and Marbury was a judge appointed by the previous administration, right? And then Marbury just told him to avoid these injunctions. I just avoid it. Trump could do the same thing. All right, look over Marbury versus Madison. It's a very important case if you're not aware of it. All right. McFadden also wrote, quoting that another Supreme Court cases intervening in the contest between the House and President over the border wall would entangle the court in power contest nearly at the highest of its political tensions and would risk damaging the public confidence in its vital to functioning of the judicial branch. Lawmakers expressively approved only $1.375 billion in the week after the shutdown to go towards the funding 50 miles of wall along the southern borders. But Trump said the wall inadequate, and he is pushing for moving funds from other homeland security projects, which he had the right to do, right? Project previously approved by legislator in his budget requested earlier years. Trump formally requested $8.6 billion. That's a nothing. That's a chump change, and they're still being greedy with that. Right? They're willing to fund all these other countries, giving aid to all these countries, but for aids for our own country, they're so apprehensive of giving it to us to protect Americans, right? $8.6 billion from Congress, saying that it would be sufficient to build more than 700 miles of wall, right? It's enough, and they don't want to give that out. The emergency appropriation fund alone could be used to build more than 300 miles of barriers. At the hearing at May, McFadden hinted that courts should stay out of the matter, right? Stay out of the matter is his power, and just as the appeal and suggest an appeal was imminent regardless. I'm not sure how much necessary our views can carry the day with our court above us, McFadden said at the hearing. Disagreeing about the been brewing in the lower court settling stage to appellate the panels to step in. Gilliam, a northern district of California, judges who ruled last month that Trump would likely to break the law by reallocating the fund, blocking some slated imminent construction of Yuma and El Paso. This Gilliam guy, this guy's an idiot, all right? This guy, he's a socialist Marxist. He's not a judge, he's a judge. What kind of judge decide based on his feeling and not on facts, right? He's one of those liberal judges. That's what's wrong with liberal judges. They don't want to judge based on fact. They want to use their feeling, their emotion to judge everything, which is not the case. You just not do that. You are not a good judge if you use that, all right? In short, the position when the Congress declined the executive request to appropriate funds, the executive nonetheless may simply fund it ways to spend those funds without Congress does not square with the fundamental separation of power principle dating back to the earliest days of the Republic, Gilliam wrote. Don't take his word. He's manipulating words. All right, this guy's a joke. Gilliam, he's obstructionist judges. He's in the 9th District Court. The 9th District Court is one of the most liberal court out there. Right? What the liberal? These people are godless. Godless people. If God would attack Sodom and Gomorrah today, it would be California. Alright? San Francisco have a pooping epidemic. They have to deal with all diseases. Los Angeles have a typhus outbreak, hepatitis. All these archaic medieval diseases are coming back because of their lack of rule enforcement. They're not enforcing the rule. This is why this happened. Gavin Newsom try to form a committee, find a solution. Here's a solution. Enforce the law. That's how you find a solution. They're not enforcing the law. They let people do anything they want in California, which is not the case. There's had to be rule and consequences. When there's rule and consequences apply, people follow them so they won't get punished, and hence there will be order in the state. They're not doing that. They're more sympathetic to people's opinion. Most importantly, they're sympathetic to criminals' opinion. Why would you build so criminal? Why would be so sympathetic to criminals' opinion? They broke the law. They have to pay for it. All right. I'm yelling my throat out here. I'm losing my breath for yelling out here. I gotta show you guys this article I read. All right. Look at this. Look how many people that is. You want these people to come in? What kind of skill do they have? How do they benefit Americans? How? They work under the table, take the money, send it back to Mexico. All right? All the money in America are going back to Mexico. This is why we need the tariffs so bad. Because we need Mexico to be on our side to do their part, to protect their northern borders, all right? I say this so many times. Terrorists can also slip into Mexico. How come you never hear a terrorist attack in Mexico? How come you never hear a terrorist attack in the Catholic country? I meant it so many times before. The Pope, the Catholic Pope right now, he's embedded with the Muslim Brotherhood. All right? This is why the Muslim Brotherhood never advocate any attack in the Catholic country. Why do you think there's not a jihadist in South America attacking? Why there's no terrorist attack in South America? All right, you never hear any jihadists attack South America. Last time I checked, they are a westernized country. You know why? Because the Pope is embedded with the Muslim Brotherhood. It's all a setup. The Pope, the Catholic Church are encouraging these people to do it. If the Catholic Pope are looking for their best interest, they'll tell them to stay where they are. But no, it came out in the news that the Pope funded $500,000 to help these people to go up to America. They're trying to attack America from within. They know they can't attack America militarily. They have to destroy it from the inside out. This is what they're doing. They're trying to destroy America from the inside out, and they're preventing Trump from trying to protect America, all right? Look it up. Ask questions. Why are they doing this? All right? This is why I'm so against the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is an antichrist religion. I'm sorry. If you're Catholic, you got to reevaluate your faith. All right? That's why you got to reevaluate your faith. Why so much Catholic priests are molesting boys? Because there's a satanic entity right now. All right? It's blood sacrificial. Catholics is not based on Christianity. It's not based on Jesus Christ. It's based on sun worshiping. All right? It's based on Dagon, the fish god worshipping. All right, it's based on, why do you think the Pope wear a hat that looked like a fish? All right, that's what it is. It's Masonic. It's detrimental to society. All right, the Catholic Church is embedded with the Muslim Brotherhood, attacking this. All right, I don't know, guys, what I'm saying. YouTube don't want to monetize my channel because I'm not monetized. I'm not scripted, unedited, unrehearsed. I mean, I can say whatever I want without being bound by any outside interference. If you like what I'm saying, what's the point of what I'm saying, please like, share, and subscribe. Because when you subscribe, it encourages me to make more videos for you guys. And the point to this, and I'm not taking any donation, the point of this channel is to make people ask questions. Why is this happening? I want to enlighten people's mind. Alright? To ask questions. Stop accepting things as face value and start asking questions. Try to connect your own dots. That's what the purpose of the channel. Alright? I know your time is precious. I'm not trying to waste any more of your time. On that note, guys, thank you for listening to Highly Evolved Podcast. My name is Stefan. Follow me in BitChute, Minds, Twitter, and Gab.ai. On that note, guys, this is the Highly Evolved Podcast. I'm your host, Stefan. I thank you for listening to me, and I'm checking out. Peace.